All right. So first of all, Rob, why don't you welcome everybody? It's probably good for you to see everybody on a call.
Yeah, I mean, 77 people, 76, one dropped off. 77 people up early in the morning, bro. Very impressive. You
Very
must carry
impressive.
you carry a big stick, my man.
I think they love their leader, and so between the two of us, I think we'll do everything we can to help everybody.
So you just before we get started, to give a couple people a moment or two to get on, I just wanted to kind of give a big shout out to everybody and say, look, we're open for business. The way we do business has changed dramatically in a very short period of time. We have a very resilient, resourceful group of people, and we are putting you in touch with world class content and world class leadership. Yesterday, we had on our town hall meeting, Verl, we had my coach Wayne Einhorn, who shared some great ideas, working with some top people across the country. And I know that you have a resume second to none of people that you've worked with, and I hope you can share a little bit of how people are shifting and adapting to the new reality. And on our leadership call with our management team this morning, it came to me that this isn't all going to end in one day. Yes, you can go, Ryan. Isn't all going to end in one day. That I believe the way that this came about, where at first it was practice social distancing, then it was we canceled Broadway and sporting events, then it was no more groups of more than 50, then it was 25, then it was 10, now it's no more than 2 people in certain areas, right? I think it's going to unwind that way, where okay, you're now going to be allowed to have one-on-one showings. You're now going to be allowed up to 10 people. Then it's going to go 25. Then it's going to go 50, and it's probably going to be close to a year before you get to see another, major sporting event or the Olympics, because of the new reality that we're in. I don't know if you kind of share that same opinion, Verl, if you had put any thought into it, but I just wanted to put that out there for everybody, because I don't think there's going to be like all of a sudden tomorrow, Governor Murphy or Donald Trump or Andrew Cuomo say, hey, it's now safe, and everybody goes back to the way it was. I think it'll never be the same as it was for the foreseeable future. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to you, Verl, to give us some thoughts that you have, and maybe share with us what some other people are doing and what you're advising people.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. So I'll tell you, the first thing I'd like to share with everybody is that I love Og Mandino, and in Og Mandino's Greatest Salesman in the World, one of his scrolls, he says, be the master of your emotions. And in the be the master of your emotions, he talks about how do we deal with things. And one of the things that he says is these 4 words that have been passed down through the generations will absolutely be passed down through this hard time. And these 4 words are, this too shall pass. And as great as an impact as we're having on our business right now, it is going to pass. Rob, you talked about what you believe is going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. Here's what I believe. I believe that we have people that are on 2 sides of the spectrum here. We have fanatical people who believe that the end of the world is here. They're crawling under their covers and they're hiding. And then we have the other side of the people who are down at spring break thinking they're invincible and nothing's going to touch them. And the truth is somewhere in the middle. And that is that there's definitely an impact, and there's definitely people getting sick, and some that are even passing, and we want to do everything we can do to be safe. And our job as real estate agents and as leaders is not to judge how somebody feels about things, but it's to honor the way they feel and create a safe environment for them to be able to transact. And so there are lots of transactions. We have complete lockdown places where essential services are all that are open, and we're still transacting and doing real estate transactions. So I'm going to give you, what I'd like to do today is I'd like to share with you 4, what I call 4 specific critical things that all of you can and should be working on during this next 30 to 60 day period. And if you'll focus on these 4 things, then you'll come out of here prepared to be able to dominate when the market resurges. I do believe that this next, we're just ending a quarter today, and that the next quarter is going to be much stronger. We're going to go into the next 30 days is going to continue to be slow, but there's a pent-up demand for buyers and sellers. And I'm going to share with you some charts and some graphs that give you some true history of how the world has responded in catastrophic events and what's happened to real estate, what's happened to the stock market, what the timing is, everything has been. And I want to give you some information that will put you in a position to be able to give intelligent and have intelligent conversations with your buyers and sellers. Do you guys like that?
Absolutely.
Okay, and so, we wanted to do by the way, everybody say hi to John Miller. John's got the Workman Success background. Give us a wave, John. John's your account manager for Workman Success Systems, and he's the one that worked with Rob on putting this together today, just because he wants to make sure that you're getting great value from your relationship with Workman Success Systems. We have several clients in your offices that we coach on a one-on-one basis, and of course the training center, the RE/MAX Select Group campus that you all have access to. So I'm going to share my screen with you really quick, and then I'm going to take you through a series of things that are kind of exciting, and then I'm also going to share with you what's going on in the world. So let me move my. I've got multiple screens going here. I want to pin you up here so I can see all your faces. I want you to know that this is an interactive, and I want you to be able to ask questions. And so if you have a question, unmute yourself and ask the question. One of the first things I want to tell you is that in order to really take advantage of the opportunity that presents itself right now, we're in a place where we should be focusing on getting our business in order. And so we need to get our house in order. And this is an opportunity for us to make sure all of our systems and all of our fundamentals are running so well that when an onslaught of business comes in, we have the ability to perform at a higher level of speed with a higher level of ease. And in order to do that, we have to create what I call as operational excellence. And so the first of the four things that I'm going to give you is, number one, is I want you to crank up your efforts in the basic fundamentals that everybody knows they should do, but most don't. And I'm going to give you some specific things I'm going to show you in the training center how we go in and do that. And so this is all part of number one. So the basics are, I want you to be masters at understanding how to work, follow up, and track your leads. And we do that in the lead tracker. Can anybody tell me, if you wanted to know how to use a lead tracker, where you would find that in the RE/MAX campus, in the Select Group campus? Where would you find that if you wanted to do lead tracker? How do you find something? Oh, this is a good class. All right, I'm going to tell you, right up here, there's a little search bar. And if you click on that search bar and I type in the word lead tracker, what it does is it brings up all of the videos or all of the sessions in the lead tracker where we've talked about that. So I'm going to go into AMP, which is Admin Mastery, and I'm going to click on lead tracking. Here's what I've learned. That which gets measured gets done. And if you track your leads from every source at a really high level and you track exactly where they came from and what their status is, then you're going to find that you convert more of those opportunities. So this is the actual lead tracker right here. So we give you in the video a video on what to do and how to do it, and then we give you a link to the lead source, to the actual resource that gives you a lead tracker. Now, this is a generic lead tracker. You can go in, you put the client's name, their phone number, their email, the lead date, the first contact, the next scheduled touch, the client type, their source, the property type, whether or not they get added into your CRM, the probability or the likelihood of the business, their status, whether you won them, whether you lost them, and any notes. Every day we mark them as an A, a B, or a C lead, and we make sure there aren't any follow-ups that are behind today. So if the next scheduled touch is behind today, then we should make sure we call them. I'm going to give you some very specific scripts and dialogues on this call today that are not in the training center. So I'm going to have my assistant email them out to Rob, or I'm going to give you a link that you can download them, and I'm going to give you some charts and graphs that will help you with your messaging. So the first thing on going back to the basics is we want to make sure we lead track. Would you like to see a lead tracker that's actually being run really well so you can see what it looks like when it's done and the data you get?
Please.
Okay, so let me open that up for you. So I'm going to go into one of my coaching clients. So I'll go into Brooke Signs Lead Tracker from 2019. So Brooke runs a team in Michigan and also in North Carolina. And so this is the lead tracker. These are all of the agents using the lead tracker. And then this is the summary data that I get. So by using this lead tracker, exactly like I give it to you, you can go in, and once you put all your data in, it gives you this valuable information that shows us who's getting what leads, what resource, where they're coming from, what the potential value of each lead, so we're able to make all of our decisions based on data that comes in, as opposed to our gut feeling. So one of the first things that I need you to focus on, John, as you're looking at this is make sure that every lead goes into the lead tracker on first contact. I don't care if it's an open house, an internet lead, a lead coming off of one of your websites, every lead goes into the lead tracker on first contact. Most people like to go back and put them in the lead tracker, 6 months from now, or at the end of the week, or wherever they keep them on their yellow sticky notes. I want you to put them in on first contact. Okay, the second thing is I want you to become masters at the lead conversion process. And in order to do that, we have to follow what we call as the A, B, and C lead process. Some of you have heard me talk about this in the past. An A lead is somebody you have an appointment with. A B lead is somebody that's 30 to 90 days out. We're going to call them twice a month during the weeks of the 1st and 15th. A C lead we call once a month during the week of the 9th. If you wanted to know how to convert A and B and C leads, where would you find that in the training center?
Search bar.
Search button.
There you go. So I'm going to type in A, B, C. And when I type in A, B, C, there's 1, 2, 3 different sessions on your A, B, C leads. Session 3 in BAM, when I go into Buyer Agent Mastery, gives you the ABCs. In the ABCs, I want you to look at this. There's 5 different downloads in here. And so including the AB and C lead management process, it breaks down the entire process for you and shows you what to do and how to think about each of those leads if it loads. You'd think I'd have screaming fast internet. There's not a single soul in my office. I have 30 people here at Salt Lake at Workman Success, and everybody's working from home except me. Because this is a safe environment, I sent everybody away. Holy cow. All right, we'll let that load for a minute. Also in here is the script, the Ford dialogue, the power script, and the apology script. That's all in here. Now, the next thing, so we're going to do first, we're going to do lead trackers. Second, we're going to learn and understand how to do the A, B's, and C's, get everybody followed up in our A, B's, and C's. The third thing I want you to focus on is I want you to build your list of your top 50. And the top 50 is a specific program. So if I go into my search bar and I type in top 50, you're going to see a whole bunch of videos on this. You're going to see the top 50, 8651 here. You're going to see session 12 of a brand new program we're just launching today called RAMP, which is our Rising Agent Mastery program. And this is the top 50 here, and then you'll see a BAM session 10. I'm going to go to BAM session 10 because in BAM session 10, there's an ebook called 8651, and it's how to close 86 transactions a year working with just 50 people 1 hour a day. This isn't like, none of the stuff that I'm giving you is like fluffy stuff that might work. This is the stuff that I use with our high 7-figure teams. I don't know if you know this, but how many of you, did any of you see any of my sessions at R4 this year? So RE/MAX asked me to do one session in particular, and they always ask me to do something in this line, but this session that I did for Amy Somerville at RE/MAX this year was how to go from a 7-figure gross business to a 7-figure net. So how to go from making $1 million in gross income to how to making $1 million net. Anybody have any guess or ideas of why she would ask me to do that session?
Because agents don't manage expenses correctly?
Well, yes, that's part of it. John had a thought, but you were muted, John. I unmuted you.
What's the net $1 million at the end of the year?
Yeah, well, because we help a lot of people actually do that. And so because we have a track record, a proven track record of helping people accomplish that, she asked me to talk to that message. And so the tools and the systems that I'm giving you today are the same tools and systems that I give our 7-figure clients. And so I want you to take them with a high level of interest. Don't just think, oh yeah, this is a seminar guy. I'm talking about how we really do move the needle with some of the most effective real estate agents and teams in the world. So in this book, 8651, this downloadable book, it talks about identifying your top 50. And then in the new RAMP program, let's see, in my training center, in the new RAMP program, there is a specific thing and a specific series of touches and a new tracker that we want you to use with your top 50. Your top 50 are the 50 people in your life that are most likely to give you one referral a year. That's 50 people. That's your friends, your family members, your neighbors, the people in your church group, your frat brothers, sorority sisters. When you build your top 50 list, what I want you to think about is not, I don't want you to build a top 30 list, and I don't want you to build a top 60 list. There's a magic number, and the number is 50. It's the 50 people most likely to give you one referral per year, and I'm going to have you do a specific touch with all 50 of them once a month for the next 12 months. Right now is a great time to reach out to the top 50. And so this is a separate, this isn't in the training center, but this is what I'm giving all of my private clients right now, is we've written a series of scripts for doing lead follow-up with buyers, lead follow-up with sellers, and a top 50 script. Would you guys like these?
Please.
Yes, please.
Okay? All right, I'll make sure that you have them. And so the top 50 script says this. It says, and by the way, how many times do you have people asking you how the market is right now?
Everyone.
All the time.
Right. And so I hope you're practicing your dialogue. And so the dialogue that you use matters. You know what's more contagious than this stupid virus? Your attitudes. And so if you have the right attitude, that's a lot more contagious than the virus. And if you have a negative, pissy attitude, then that's going to be more contagious than the virus. And so that the energy that you project absolutely matters. It's our job as leaders in our families. It's our job as leaders in our homes, in our offices, with our clients to give the right attitude. So what I like to say here is it's changing quickly. Some of my clients are deciding to step back right now, and I'm supporting them 100%. I'm also helping them think through what's coming next. One of the questions I like to ask my clients right now is, as you've been sequestered in your home and you look around, are you sure that's the house you want to be in next time we have a virus come through? And people laugh at that and they're like, no, man, I totally want a different house. I had no idea how small the walls were when you spend all day in it. And so, you know, add some humor. And then I say, I'm just helping them think through what's next. There are others who really need to buy or sell today, and they're doing that with the procedures we've put in place for being safe through smart showings, virtual services, and more. And so the dialogue that you give lets people know that you're still doing business. I love when Rob opened the call today. He said, we're still open for business. Most people think we're closed. We're not closed. Yesterday, I had one client list 6 houses. They had 6 new listings come on the market yesterday in a market where only essential services are available, 100% virtual. And then we have dialogue for when you're calling and following up with all of your leads. I want you to think about your list of all the people that have inquired on real estate in the last 12 months. Wherever you keep all of those leads, I want you to go in and call them. And I don't want you to sell them anything. I want you to call them, and I want you to ask how you can serve. Right now, at our conference in January in Orlando, I introduced a concept called SBO, and it stands for Serve Before Opportunity. And I've changed that right now to SRO. And what SRO means, and I'm going to say this to the amazing Angie, is it means serve regardless of the opportunity. And if you reach out to people and you serve without any anticipation for something you're going to get in return, you're going to find that people respond completely different to you. When you're going out to meet someone or to show a house that's vacant or you're doing something, are you reaching out to your neighbors that are locked in and asking them if they need anything? Can I stop by and pick something up for you? I had a client the other day message me. She says, Burl, I don't know if you know this, but there's nobody shopping in the kosher markets. I said, what? She says, yeah, all the grocery stores are lined up around the building, but I went into the Jewish kosher market. They had toilet paper, they had meat, they had everything that I needed, and there was no line. And so I reached out to my clients to say, hey, they have things that you need, but just go to the Jewish kosher market that's nearest you. I thought, what a great idea. It's serve regardless of opportunity. How can you make a difference in the people's lives that you serve? And so I like to start every call with, how can I help? And if you start every call with, how can I help? It changes the conversation. Not what can I sell you, or are you thinking about listing your house? Now's not the time to be self-serving. The business will take care of itself if you have a servant's heart and you serve regardless of the opportunity. My wife this week did something that was kind of funny. She's in a group of neighborhood women. They call themselves the Sister Wives. And they have this huge group, and they all talk to each other, and they share what's going on about how they're schooling their kids. And Colleen says, hey, let's do something kind of fun. Everyone's out walking. I've never seen so many couples out walking in the neighborhood. So let's write positive messages on our driveways with sidewalk chalk with our kids. And then when we walk around, we can just communicate with the messages. Well, so we went out the other night, 2 nights ago, and we're walking through the neighborhood. There must have been 50 different sidewalk driveways with kids that have written everything from Star Wars themes to dinosaurs to love our neighbors to everything you can imagine. It was really fun to see the community talking to each other while having social distancing. And so that was just a fun thing. So what are you doing to create engagement and energy around your communities? This is what it means to go back to the basics. So lead tracker, top 50, ABCs of leads. And then the last thing I'm going to tell you is I want you to really focus on your database. Everybody in your database should get a call while you're down. Hi, this is Burl. I just want to see how you're doing. And then people are going to say, what's going on? You say, well, I want to let you know that, so if you look at my conversations with buyers or sellers, it says, I want to touch base to see how you and your family are doing. And then I wrote, listen, listen, listen. Just want you to know that we're here to help if there's anything you need or anything we can do. Is there anything you can think of that I can help you with right now? What if they say no? Is there any way to be hurt with this call?
No.
No, because it comes from a true place of service. And then it says, just so you know, some of our clients have decided to step back right now. We support them 100%. Others are proceeding as usual, and we're supporting them with the procedures we put in place for being safe through smart showings, virtual services, and more. So it's the same dialogue that we're opening to have real estate conversations. Are people still buying and selling? Usually comes up, and you say, absolutely. Hey, does anybody have access to the MLS right now? Rob, is there any agent sitting in front of their computer and get on your MLS right now?
Yep.
All right, I want someone to do that and
Yep.
tell me how many closings you've had in the last 30 days.
What do I do? I've had 3. Where do I say that?
I don't want you, not you've had 3. I want to know how many closings on the MLS. And if you've had 3, good for you.
Yeah. I think even 4.
But
maybe.
how many on the, how many on the MLS?
What do you mean?
I'm doing it, Verl.
How many, so it's like how many realtors have closed a transaction? How many MLS closings in the last 30 days? And then, Rob, I want you to do that number.
Rob, you have my
Once
numbers.
have that- and then once you have that number, I'm going to ask you how many new properties have listed in the last 30 days.
That too.
So the reason I'm asking Rob to do this is because when you know your numbers and you know what's listing and what people are buying and selling, when people ask you the question, how's the market, you can say, we've listed, 250, 500, 1,300, whatever the number is, houses in the last 30 days, and we've sold whatever that number is in the last 30 days.
So
It
there's
lets
a-
people
so-
know you
so-
know that
So,
there's
Verl,
happening.
1,063 closed in the in our main 3 counties only. There's a lot more.
And in Monmouth County.
Okay, that's great.
Monmouth and Ocean is 649.
Bergen County,
People.
we have 420, and I actually just did a whole video update with a weekly update of what's going on during the coronavirus, so people know that the market is still moving and going.
I love that. That's beautiful. So do you see what's going on when we talk about the numbers? There's some people that think there are no real estate transactions happening. And the truth can't be further from that. The reality is people are buying and selling real estate. It's just some people are choosing to do it differently today. And there's not as many transactions. So let me show you some charts and graphs. I want to share with you what goes on in the marketplace right now. So let me open this up for you. And I'll also give you these. So let me show you. This is a, let's see if I can make this go bigger. There we go. Okay, so this shows during the last several epidemics or major pandemics in history, what's happened to the housing pricing. So after 9/11, this is what happened. This is the SARS virus, what happened during the SARS virus. We had a peak. And in 2006 to 2008, what happened? It was the housing market crash. And then the H1N1 virus, which was the last one, and there was a 3.5% decline in sales. After every single one of these major pandemics, what's happened to real estate? It's gone up. Look at the median sales price of a house. after major pandemics, after 9/11, SARS, and H1N1. What's happened to the housing prices over the last several years? As a result of these pandemics, real estate always, there you'll see a little, this is not related to a pandemic, this is the housing crash, and I'll show you a chart that shows that. But H1N1, we had a little bit of a dip, and then immediately we've had steady, consistent growth going forward. So the information tells us that we know that we have a major pandemic right now, but history, if we learn from history, tells us that following the pandemic, we're gonna have a what?
An
An
uptick.
increase. Yeah, an increase.
Right, right. So is that a reason to be scared and to run away?
No, no.
This tells you what's happened to the stock market and previous viruses. And so during SARS, there was a 12.8% decline that lasted 38 days. During the avian flu, 6.9% that lasted 141 days. During the MERS, which in 2012, a 7.3 that lasted 43 days. During the Ebola in 2014, we had a decline of 5.8% that only lasted 23 days. And the Zika virus, which is the most recent one, was a 12.9. There's a definite effect on the stock market in relationship to these pandemic viruses that get announced. I'm going to show you another chart that shows you just the announcements and how it affects the stock market
Hey, Earl.
and how it rebounds.
I mean, bro, quick note. I just pulled there was 1,971 listings taken in the past 30 days, and there was 468 in the past 10 days. So not much of a difference.
No. People, the difference is that there's fewer people listing more properties because a lot of agents have decided to sequester themselves and not work. And so if you're working your top 50 and you're calling your past leads and you're letting them know you're up for business, but you have safe practices, people are needing to buy and sell houses. So the difference is not the quality of the individual, but it's the activities that they're focused on during the day. I have amazing people doing nothing, and I have average people that are active and they're having great results. So you have to decide who you are in this process. So this is just some interesting data. This is the percent of median income needed to purchase a medium-priced house. In 2006, right before the crash, people were using 26% of their income to buy a house. Today, they're using 15.5% on average, meaning that people aren't over-leveraging to get into homes. Our incomes have gone up so we can afford to get into houses, which puts us in a better situation. Right now, in 2007, during the crash, there was 8.2 months of inventory. Right now, there's 3.1 months of inventory. When you have limited inventory, what kind of a market is that?
Sellers.
Right. So we either have a buyer's market, a seller's market, or a balanced market. As we went into this pandemic, we have a seller's market. What's going to happen is we're going to have a demand of pent-up buying that's going to occur, and a demand of sellers. And I believe that we're going to come out of this with a more balanced market, which is good. And so right now is a good time to sell because there's limited people who are letting people go through their homes because they don't know how to do it safely. And so if we message and understand and teach people how to do safe showings and what we do differently, then you put yourself in a position to serve your sellers at a higher level.
So, Verl, I have a
another-
question for you. What are your thoughts
Sure.
on the market to the public that we're still listing and showing? Obviously, we're doing that virtually, but there's a lot of different opinions on realtors doing business right now. So this is great
Yeah.
information. So how do we get that out there?
Yeah, so let me share with you. Everybody needs to have, and I don't know if you've created this, but everybody needs to have their rules of engagement. And so how we show properties. Let me show you a couple of them. And so I have a coronavirus management folder in my Google Drive, and these are just things that we share with our private clients and things like that. But let me show you let's see. Here's our listing and showing protocols. And so you should have a printed listing and showing protocol, Rob, and this is something that I'll share with you. This is, let me show you this one. So this is Elam's Real Estate's protocol for showing a property. I want to show you a different one, actually. Here's his showing homes. And so I really like this one. So if we're going to show your home, this is the protocol that we use. It's a clean slate.
Verl,
Okay.
will you
It
be
says,
sharing this with us?
yeah, I'll share some of this stuff with you. It says, as the novel virus remains ever-changing, health and well-being of you, your clients, and employees have remained our top priority. So the first thing when we show home is we ride separately to view the home. Let's keep a social distance by not riding in the same vehicle. Number two, exclusive bookings only, meaning you and your agent will be the only people present at the showing. The homeowners and we will not be there. Minimize risk at the home. Your agent will arrive early, turn all the lights, open the doors so you don't need to touch anything in the house. And so as the consumer, we don't want you touching anything. We'll have hand sanitizers, wipes. Some people have added to that, gloves and booties for your shoes. No sick agents will be working. Common sense goes a long way here. There will be no hugs or handshakes. We maintain a healthy social distance. And then we're going to follow the CDC guidelines. As new information becomes available, our agents will be more fully informed to follow you with the guidelines. And so this is a policy for showing. Do you like that?
Yes.
Here's another one. Let's see. Oh, this is what it looks, this is the same thing. This is how he wrote it out. So you need to make it be on your RE/MAX header and make it look like that, but I'll share with you the dialogue. We have other ones for listings. We're getting really good at doing virtual listings and virtual closings. And so there's just so much data and dialogue there. I'm going to go back to my charts and graphs for just a minute. So have a policy is what I'm saying, and that's how you get it out. Get it out on social media, email it to your clients. When you're making phone calls, say, would you like me to send you our policy for showing a listing? Use your Nextdoor apps, things like that, to let people know that there's activity that's happening. I'm also encouraging my clients to do video and to celebrate successes. When somebody in your office has a closing, you should all be posting that to all of your database saying, hey, RE/MAX Select just did another closing. Congratulations to our safe clients who were able to get into a new home or sell a new home or list a new home. And so let's start using each other and borrow the power of the crowd to let our collective databases know that we're doing business. You guys are in a unique place in that you have sharp agents in a marketplace where a lot of people have fear, and your job is to make sure that we're not spreading fear. So this one shows the annual home appreciation. So leading up to the crash in 2006, look at where the houses were going: 8.5, 8.7, 12.5, 11.4. That was crazy. Look at the last 6 years: 4, 5, 6%. It's all been about the same, very steady increases. And so there's not been this artificial fluctuation of pricing that created the situation. This is another really interesting one. This is the total home equity cashed out. In 2005 to 2007, there was $824 billion in people cashing out of their home equity. They were borrowing 110 to 120% of their equity. Today, it's only $232 billion. And so now people are sitting with a lot more equity in their home, which means that they're going to be in a less distressed situation. And so all of these charts and all of these graphs give us anticipation and understanding that the market is much more stable today than it was in 2006 to 2008 when we had the big crash. There's also been a 60-day moratorium on evictions, foreclosures. And so we know that the HUD has said you can't evict or foreclose on anyone. Well, when you don't have an onslaught of foreclosures coming onto the market, what does that do to house pricing? It maintains it. But when you have a whole bunch of distressed properties coming on, the pricing drops. And so because there's a moratorium on that, we're not going to see this big drop in house pricing. People are concerned to move forward today because they don't have enough information. And so our job is to provide that information. Okay, so I'm going to go back to your training center for just a minute. So my number one thing is to go back to basics, and I shared with you several things. I'm going to share with you a brand new program that we just launched. It's now inside your training center. And if you haven't seen this yet, this is our best training product we've ever built. This is called RAMP. It's Rising Agent Mastery. And this is designed to get every agent to increase their production by a minimum of 2 transactions a month. And if you'll go through this, and the way this program works is the courses are built out in weeks 1 through 11. There's 12 weeks. And there's a course every day. So what I'd like you all to do during your downtime is I'd like you to give me a specific and personal commitment that you'll go through RAMP. And you'll go, so here's course week 2, for example. In week 2, we're going to go through your lead tracker. We're going to go through setting up your SOI correctly, the ABCs of lead management, how to prospect and look for new business. And then on Friday, there's always a review. So you have 4 days of content. The videos are between 7 and 14 minutes. Can I ask you all to commit to, in the next 90 days while you have downtime, to go through and do all of the sessions inside a RAMP and the activities associated with it? Can I ask you to do that?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And so are you willing to commit to it, Rob?
Absolutely. I was on mute. Sorry.
That's okay. I just want to make sure you're committed and that you'll go through that. Now, how are you going to hold each other accountable? I'd like you to look on this video right now, and I'd like you to reach out to someone via chat or text and find an accountability partner that you're going to do this with. I want everybody on this call to not buy into their own bullcrap and have an accountability partner. Because you all say yes, and then your activities, by the way, I have the ability to go in and I can look at your admin page and I can look exactly at everything and everyone who's looking at every video. So this is being recorded. I have all of you on here. I want everybody to go to your chat box right now. Go to your chat box on your Zoom video and say, I'm committed, ramp in 90 days. I'm committed. I want you to type that in there. I want it recorded for posterity. By the way, I don't know if you know much about Rob, but Rob has 100% focus and desire to help all of you become more successful. And his job as a leader is to provide an environment that creates stability and security for everybody. He reached out to me the other day and he said, Verl, I've got to get my house in order and I've got to make sure that all my expenses are in check. And I want you to take your training center, I want you to give me a deal for the next 30 days. And I said, let me think about it. And my first response was, Rob, I don't know if you realize this, but our traffic on the training center has gone up 500% in the last week. That all these agents working at home are going in and using it. And we pay per usage, so costs have gone up. So I reached out to Remax LLC and I said, okay guys, here's what I'd like to do, but I want Remax to support me in this. And Remax and Workman came together to reduce the cost of the training center for every Remax office across the world by 50% for the next 30 days. And that was all spurred by Rob reaching out to me saying, let's make a difference to everybody. So Rob, all these Remax offices have you to thank for that. So thanks for being aggressive, and I appreciate you doing that. And it caused me to reach out to people and ask the same question. Our job as leaders is to create stability and security. We have to stay in business, right? So make sure you let Rob know you appreciate that. Okay, did you guys all write in your chat? Did you all make your commitments? Okay, I got to stop my share for just a second so I can see it.
We have a lot of people named Rob Lazar.
Oh yeah, you got to write your name. If you're showing up as Rob, I need to see your name. There they are.
Hey, Verl, I just want to take a moment while everybody's putting their New Year's resolution out in public here. There was an agent who shall remain nameless who said, hey, you know, now that we're cooped up for 2 weeks, I'm going to start working out every day and finally have some time. And I'm not a big social media person, but I saw like 4 or 5 days into it, there was a post out there and it says, turns out time wasn't the problem for not working out.
Right.
So in all seriousness, I think that, you know, because we have time doesn't mean it's a given that we're going to take advantage of this opportunity. And, you know, you talked about some, you know, great leaders of time and what they've said, but I believe it was Tony Robbins who said that, you know, sometimes you can't control what's around you, but you can control how you handle it. You know, the only person that can control how you process and react to things is yourself. And, you know, there are people who get in great adversity and they become heroes and champions. And there are people who freeze. And I want to let everybody know that we're here to help make sure that you don't freeze in this time, because, you know, I heard some people saying, what's the right thing? Sometimes people are like, you know, is it proper to do business? I think that the question is not, is it proper to do business? The question is, what's the proper way to do business? Okay, so it's not, is it proper to do business now when, you know, there's this potential, you know, invisible virus, but it's what's the proper way to do business? And it could be, you know, you do all your business from your house and that you ramp up and that you get ready and you hone your skills so that when the restrictions start to unwind, that we are positioned better than anybody else. And that we've built systems, you know, we've got our mind prepared to excel, to be everything it can be. So I don't mean to be, jumping in on your program here, but, looking at the numbers that are being put on and hearing you talk about people still doing business when you can't even get into a house, that causes us to tap into the creativity. And, we have like 100 of the best agents here on this meeting, and the creativity here is really unlimited. So, anyway, I just want to, thank you. Every time I, watch a YouTube training video, I read a book, I participate in something like this, it just, it broadens my, belief system on what's possible, what's proper, what can be done, and what should be done. So anyway, let's go back to.
Thanks, Robin. I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate your thoughts and your energy and the leadership. So that brings me into number 2. So number 1 is we're going to go back to the basics. We're going to be really good about it. Number 2 is your mental and physical health matter. Meaning that when you're cooped up inside and you don't get out as much, you're going to go stir crazy. So you've got to find ways to exercise, to go out and take a walk, to do some push-ups. I bought a set of TRX bands on Amazon, and I can close my door and hang them on the door, and I can do some pull-ups and sit-ups and curls just with your own body weight because you don't have a full home gym. So do some things. When you exercise, it releases endorphins that make you positive and happy. And when you don't have that exercise, you're not out moving around, then it's really easy to get depressed. So I need you to take care of your physical and your mental health, because remember, the virus that's more contagious than the actual virus is our attitudes. And you have to make sure that you have dedicated time focused on doing dollar productive activities. You have to work. In the new RAMP program, session 28, it's called Time Blocking with My Perfect Week. There's a really cool tool in here. So whenever you see a session, you'll see the tool called My Perfect Week Scheduler. When I click on that one, it says you need to make a copy of this document. I'm going to say make a copy. Sorry. So it lets me click. It's loading. I'm going to watch that load. It's so funny how there you go. And so the way My Perfect Week works is this is a Google Sheets that's created a drop-down menus for time blocking. And so what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to, every Sunday night or Sunday morning, I want you to look at your week in advance and decide what times you're going to block for doing different things. When am I going to work on my RAMP program? When am I going to work on my scripts and dialogues? When am I going to call my top 50? And I want you to go through, and you'll notice top 50s in here. And when you put that on there, I want you to plan in advance what you're going to do every single day. And then I want you to track what you actually do against what you planned in advance. And what you're going to find is that when you plan it in advance, you think differently about your day. I've never had a perfect week where everything happened the way I planned it, but every week it gets a little bit better that I use the tools and resources. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Especially
Can you please tell me? Hi, this is Jean-Marie. Can you please tell me where to find that Perfect Week Scheduler?
Yep.
Again?
Yep. So, it's right here in RAMP. So it's in the RAMP program, session 28. But if you want to find anything, you go to the search bar and type in My Perfect Week. And when you type in My Perfect Week, it tells you 1, 2, 3 sessions that we talk about and share the resource of My Perfect Week. And so it's in your training center. By the way, do you guys like having access to all these tools? Do you really realize the power of the content that's in here? How many of you have been using the training center and really been using the resources there? John's been using it. John's the only guy.
Gabe?
John, you're like my star student on the call today. Morgan's been using it. Very good.
I'm using it.
You can thank Angie.
Scott Gleason.
Oh, good, Scott. I can thank who?
Using it.
Angie Perez.
I'm using it.
Okay. Well, I hope that today you're getting a bigger vision of what's here. I mean, I've shown you maybe 3 or 4 things, but the big vision is that everything here was designed to coach a 7-figure team. And so it wasn't built to sell it. It was built because we're coaching people that needed the resource. So we built the resource so everybody goes in and uses it. And it's just become something recently. Okay, so number 1 was back to basics and be really good, high level of execution on the basics. Number 2, mental and physical health, plan your perfect week. Number 3, I want you to learn, and I'm going to ask this group, I want RE/MAX Select Group to be the masters of virtual everything. I want you to learn how to use Zoom video, how to put a beach background behind you, how to do a full listing presentation, a buyer consultation, a remote showing, doing virtual. If you guys want to dominate in this market, regardless of what's going on outside, you have to become really good at this virtual environment. You see what I'm doing here today with my virtual environment? I'm going in, I'm showing you screenshots, I've got people chatting, we have all this going on. I need you to be able to do that. So what I would like you to do is once a week, I would like you to have a RE/MAX select group video call just like this. You can do a Google Hangout, you can use Zoom video, and I'd like you to take turns presenting your listing presentation and your buyer consultations and virtual showings. And I'd like you to be able to coordinate and practice that with each other and share with each other how we're using the tools to be able to present virtually to our clients. And let's create greater separation between us and everybody who else is out there doing real estate today. Let's be better at it. You guys accept the challenge to dominate with virtual real estate?
Absolutely.
Okay. So number 4. So let's go back and review. Number 1 is we got to get real high focus and a high level of execution on what?
Back to basics.
Fundamentals.
That's right. We got to get to the basics. Top 50, lead tracker, ABCs, and database. Number 2, your mental and physical health. I need you to be awesome and strong, and I need you to have a great attitude. Attitude right now is more important than aptitude. Your great attitude is more important than how smart you are. Number 3 is we're going to learn how to work and do things virtually better than anybody else on the planet. I want Rob to start nominating people to be on webinars with Virl to demonstrate how well they do things virtually. And I'll make you famous around the world. But you got to show me that you do it better than anybody else. Show me how you do it, what you're doing, and how you won with it. And then number 4 is we have to be the purveyors of positive information. We have to be the ones that communicate in a positive manner what's going on in the marketplace to our databases. We need to talk about inventory. We need to talk about what's going on with income. We need to talk about what's happening with interest rates. Does anybody understand what's going on with interest rates right now? I mean, the Fed dropped rates, but rates went where?
Up.
How do you explain that? Would you like me to explain it?
Yes.
Oh, by the way,
So
okay, I'll explain to you about
the market did what we didn't want, what we don't want us to do. The market ceased to function efficiently. There was a lack of liquidity, and our lenders and investors were fearful to buy anything because they're unsure of what's going on. I want to just also just
so
take a.
Rob, that's not why the rates went up. Actually, I'll show you a chart here in a second. I'll show you what happened and what rates are tied to. There's a misconception of what rates are tied to. So let me share with them some really good data on that, and I'll also tell you why it's going to adjust and change. But before I do that, I was talking about being the purveyor of positive information. This is one of my offices in Texas, and this is a copy of their virtual happy hour on Zoom. So they got all of their clients together to have a virtual happy hour, and these are the pictures of the clients were sharing during their virtual happy hour while they were practicing social distancing. What a great idea, isn't it? Let's have a virtual happy hour. Let's get everybody on Zoom, and let's be talking about and sharing. That's kind of a cool, positive thing. I'm going to go back to my drive for a second, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you my interest rate chart and see if I can. Okay. Okay. So this is the mortgage rate. This is a historic showing. And what this chart shows is the 30-year mortgage rate. That's the blue line right here and where it's been trending. This shows the 15-year mortgage rate, and that's the orange line, the second line. The gray line is the 10-year treasury yield. That's what mortgage rates are tied to. So mortgage rates are not tied to the Fed rate fund. So this shows the Fed rate fund, and when it's showing at 0% or 1% or 2% or 3%, but the mortgage rates follow almost exactly the 10-year treasury yield. And so what happened when they came out and they dropped the rates to 1, the treasury yield didn't drop to 0. The other thing that happened is that immediately a whole bunch of people started bombarding all of the mortgage companies to refi their properties and lock in to interest rates in the high twos. When that happened, it put an undue pressure on the mortgage companies, and so they raised rates because they couldn't handle the influx of refis that were happening. And so rates went up to slow down the number of refis that were happening at that level. So what you're going to see happen is that if you pay attention to it, you'll watch rates start dropping again as the pressure of the refis that got locked in immediately when that happened and made it go up. So you'll see the rates go dropping again. But if you watch the 10-year Treasury yield, that will tell you what's going to be happening with mortgage rates more so than the Fed. See, the Fed is this yellow line. Look how it goes up and down a lot. But look at the 10-year Treasury. That's where mortgage rates follow, not the Fed rate. And when you can explain that intelligently to a client, then they'll understand that the Fed drops rates to put stimulus in the economy, but it doesn't necessarily mean mortgage rates drop at the same level historically. Is that helpful? Make sure that the data that you give people is good, accurate data. It just needs to be good, accurate data. Okay, so let me go back. How much time do we have? Gosh, dang it, 4 minutes. Okay, so what I'd like to do, Rob, has this been valuable? I hope this is what you wanted for your group today.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, I just want you all to know that I'm here to serve, and if there's anything that we can do at Workman Success, we're open for business. We're all virtual anyway because our clients are all over the world. We just want you to know that we're here to help you. If the last couple minutes that we have, do any of you have any questions or things that you just would like to ask me about that I could help you with before we wrap up today? It's great to see how many of you are on the call today. You can chat your questions to me or unmute. Yeah.
Girl, I'm the manager of the Tinton Falls office, and I'm going to put a question out there for a lot of agents that are perhaps a little too shy to ask, because I've been asked.
Okay.
For agents that are wanting to start Workman, where are they starting? Are they starting with AMP, with BAM, with SAM, TOM? Where are they starting?
I want everybody to start right now in RAMP. That's our newest program. It crosses everything, both buyers and sellers, and it's designed to get them an increase of 2 deals a month. So have everybody start with the brand new program we just launched today called RAMP. So this is where I want everyone to start. If you want to get really good if you just want to focus on the listing side of your business and become a like rock star lister, then you would go through SLAM. If you work primarily with buyers, and you go through Buyer Agent Mastery, but I would still tell you that I would highly encourage everybody to start with the new RAMP program.
Cool.
Yep. And for those of you that want, there's some of you that are like, I need more direct one-on-one help. It's really interesting from a coaching perspective. We're not being aggressive with the way we're selling coaching right now, but we have a tremendous number of people that are saying, while business is slow, now's the time that I need the most direct individual help on my business. And so every day we're selling coaching, and people are coming into our one-on-one coaching, and there's a whole different set of tools and resources available. So if you need some help with that, reach out and ask us. So let me review your 4 things. Back to basics, medical and physical health, learn how to do things virtually, and share and be the purveyor of positive information. Make sure that we're communicating in a positive way with the marketplace, because the most contagious thing that we offer is our attitudes and our information. So let that go out there. Good question. Anybody else have any questions for me?
So Verl, I'm going to coin something, the AAA, and it's from your dialogue, because it starts with attitude, then it goes to aptitude, which is training, and then it goes to accountability. So the 3 A's, because without accountability, you can have the first 2 and the results will be muted. Okay. Accountability is committing to the schedule. Accountability is doing what you say you're going to do. Our leadership calls, they talk about what's your integrity, and integrity is a really powerful, strong word. And what Wayne means about integrity is, hey, if you say, 1 hour a day for 5 days a week, you're going to do something, and you only do it 3 days a week, you only have 60% integrity. And for me, that hurts. if I said, you know, Verl, you know, you're a great guy, but you only have 60% integrity, I'm going to be, that's offensive, right? But integrity
Right.
really is about doing what you say you're going to do. And if you look at it that way, I think it might change, you know, your level of commitment to the systems that you just all, you know, everybody here, all, and my phone also, Verl, is blowing up with people saying, this is great. I didn't know we have it. So I'm going to give you a big shout out because, you know, I'm getting private message and text messages about how positive people are. So you did a great job today, Verl. And, you know, managers, if you can, you know, keep this momentum going, and agents, you know, to me, I feel like a weight's been lifted off my shoulders, and that the world is not ending in 2 weeks. So thanks.
Mission accomplished then. Everybody have a great week. Know that we're here. Reach out if you need me. I appreciate you all being here. I love Maria. I'm going to give you all a hand. Thanks for being such great pillars of our industry. Keep up the great work, and I'll talk to you all soon. I can't wait till I can come out there and do a live event with you, and we'll have that on the calendar as soon as we can travel safe.
Oh, God. Be safe, Earl.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye all. Have a great day.